What's up, guys? It's your pal on wheels, CT Barry, coming at you with another wrestling video. Alright, so before we get into wrestling, first off, I want to say thank you to everybody who watches these, everybody who, gives me feedback on these. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. But I need your guys' help. Alright, so you guys know, I make videos, at least every other week. I'm going to try to do it weekly, where I talk about wrestling. Okay, so here's what I need y'all's help with. Do you guys want me to talk wrestling in one take? Which means I talk about TNA, AEW, WWE, independent when it's, when I go to these shows. Do you guys want me to do that in one video? Or do you guys want me to give every promotion their own video? Like, I'll do a video where I just talk about WWE, or a video where I just talk about AEW, TNA, independent, yada yada yada. How do you guys want me to do this? Because you guys are my viewers. So, I want you guys to, when I share this video on social media, I'll make sure to include the questions so that everybody gets an opinion, and whichever one gets the majority votes, that's what I'll go with. Alright, but today's video, I'm going to do it all in one take, and I'll post the question, and you guys let me know in the comments via Twitter, Facebook, if you're watching it here, go ahead and drop a comment, let me know. So, let's get into the video. So, usually I wear a ball cap in my videos, but today I'm busting out my Black Hawk bandana. He is a wrestler that comes and wrestles at TWA, which is the show where I got from. Like, I just came home from the show a few minutes ago. And, so we're going to talk about TWA first, and then we'll get into the rest of what's going on in the wrestling world. So, the first match I'm going to talk about, since I'm wearing my Black Hawk bandana, is Black Hawk versus Connor Cross. In a match that was pretty much like America versus Canada. Because if you guys follow Connor Cross, he's this Canadian that absolutely talks shit about everything that we Americans do. Now I'm like it. So Black Hawk was fighting him because, Black Hawk's this G.I. Joe Americana dude, as I call it. So, pretty back and forth match. I thought it was a really decent match. And then the finish of the match was Connor Cross locked Black Hawk into a sleeper, and Black Hawk passed out. But I'm going to be honest for a second. Alright? I will defend wrestling until the day I die. Okay? It is my pride and joy. My grandma and my mom tell me all the time that I need to get a new hobby. They don't understand why I love this shit so much, yada, yada, yada. Alright. But, as much as I love my crew at TWA, they're my boys. I love them. But, at the end of the match, Connor Cross goes and grabs the American flag. Comes into the ring. Wipes his face on it, and then covers Black Hawk up with it.
I know I'm probably going to get shit for saying this,
But to me, that was disrespectful. Because as many people that go overseas and fight and die for that flag and our freedom, I did not like it. Because I come from a long line of veterans. And that did not sit with me. You know, I get it, Conor Cross is a heel. Heels are going to do that kind of thing. I understand that. Alright? You know, I know back in the 80s, you know, they had Sergeant Slaughter turn on America, and they had Iron Sheik come in. You know, when we were on the brink of war when we were in a war with Iraq and all that back then, you know, all that. But I'm like, as a fan, you know, I don't like when the flags are touched in a disrespectful manner. And I would be saying the same thing. You know, if Blackhawk went and grabbed the Canadian flag, wiped his face on it, and covered Conor up with it. To me, I don't think you do that to flags. That's just my personal take. You know, that is just a take. That was just something, as a fan, that did not sit well with me personally. Now, everybody else can have a different opinion, and that's fine. That's just my opinion. Alright? So, with that said, the next match I'm going to talk about is Chuck Chronic versus Ruthless Alexander Crowley. They were pretty back and forth. No. Sorry. It was Joshua Charles versus Alexander Crowley. My bad. Okay. So, Crowley and Joshua go at it. Pretty good match. You know, Draven and Ronnie Bruce are sticking their noses in it whenever the referee's back was turned. But you guys know Crowley and I have jaw-jacked in the past. Alright? You know, anybody who follows me on social media, who sees me at the wrestling shows, know him and I go at it. Alright? But I get up to go to the concession stand to get some food. So I'm sitting there ordering my food. The next thing I know, Crowley's laying on the ground, and Sexy Steve and Vitamin D are yelling, "We need help! We need help!" And like everybody's running in the ring, and Crowley's laying on the ground grabbing his knee, and I'm sitting there going, you know, what the hell is going on? What's wrong with Crowley? You know, and Joshua looks concerned, and then you hear referee West say, "It's alright, you know, accidents happen." I'm thinking, oh shit, like something's wrong. You know, when a wrestler blows their knee out, and I'm like, oh my god, are they going to have to call a squad, or what? And so then Draven runs into the ring, hits Charles in the back of the head. You know, just clubs him in the back of the head with a double axe handle. And Joshua turns around like he's going to beat Draven. And Crowley jumps up and rolls Joshua up for the win. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, oh my god, that is some next level heel shit. I mean, that was fucking genius on Crowley's part. You know, I'll give the devil his due there. I mean, that was pretty amazing. Because, like, I was talking to him after the show when I was getting in my car to go home, and he was like, yeah, like, no one knew I was going to do it. I'm like, really? Like, and I'm just like, damn, dude, that was awesome. I mean, that is the heel shit in pro wrestling I like, because it's like, you know, even as a fan, like, you're booing the shit out of a heel. But, you never want to see anyone get hurt, for real. Because, when that happens, it's like, it's dead silent. They're like, oh my god, is this guy okay? Like, and Crowley goes and pulls a stunt like that. I'm like, I'll give you your credit, Crowley. That was pretty cool. So, then the next match we had was Zayden Kane defending his legacy title against Rick Rogers. And so this match, Rick Rogers comes out with blaring offense. Like, he's hitting like big impact moves. I'm thinking, oh my god, like this match is going to be over in seconds. So, Zayden keeps kicking out, and, they're going at it for a while. Well, Zayden puts Rogers on his shoulders and does a little airplane spin, and referee Cameron gets kicked in the face and he goes down. So, he's laying down on the ground, and, they're hitting their finishers, they're fighting. Well then, as Cameron's coming to, Zayden's getting back in the ring, and Rick Rogers kicks the ropes. And they go back into the ring, and Rick Rogers hits a cutter and gets the win. Referee Cameron's counting the count hurt, like, doing that slow count after a referee takes a bump. And then Bane Lewis comes out. And they grab a couple chairs, and they hit a concerto on Zayden. And Zayden's, like, pretty much having to be dragged to the back. Because he's, like, out. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, damn, TWA. They're really bringing the drama tonight. And speaking of Bane Lewis, he was supposed to face Yellow Man, but I guess Yellow Man had car trouble or something, so he ends up fighting Damian Abel. Damian Abel's whooping up on him, and Bane Lewis gets, some moves in and takes out the knee, and, typical big man versus little man shit. And, Bane hits him with a low blow, disqualification. So, there wasn't really, honestly, much to that match that was really noteworthy in my mind. I mean, it was a good match. I mean, I'm not saying it was horrible, but, it was just, typical DQ finish kind of thing, that sort of thing. Because, it was kind of like one of those last-minute things, because the original opponent couldn't make it, so they had to put somebody else in, so, not dissing the match at all. I love Bane, I love Damian, two great wrestlers. It wasn't one of the big matches, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? So, then, the opening match was the Pattersons versus Lucha Apocalypse. So it was this Freno guy that's like this Spanish guy. I mean, I shit you not, he wears a Sin Cara mask. Or Dralistica, or whatever the hell his name is these days. And he, that's a pretty back and forth match. I mean, God, Freno is athletic as frick. Oh my God. That dude can go in the ring. I mean, he is good. And, just going back and forth, I mean, it was a friggin' banger of an opening match. And so, the manager girl gets up onto the apron, and, she was going to slap Stacy Lynn. Well, Stacy Lynn ducked, and she hit Freno. Well, then her and Freno started jaw-jacking, and, the Doom guy, the tag team partner of Reno gets in the ring and it's like, hey, don't you talk to her like that, kind of thing. And then, Stacy runs Reno into the Doom guy and, gets the roll up for the win. So that was a really good opening match. So then, let's see, we had the Counter Cross, we had the Pattersons, Vane, Zayden, Crowley. Okay, so then we had, which they did this kind of in the beginning, which was kind of shocking that they had let me turn my camera around a little bit. There we go. We had the world title match in the beginning, and it was Chuck Chronic versus champion Vincent Cross. Pretty back and forth match, and Chuck Chronic hits his finisher, which is like a Bella Buster. You guys remember the Bella Buster where they did that little face buster type thing? And, Vincent crosses out in the ring. And then, Dr. Smiles, the manager, puts Vincent Cross's foot on the ring. So then, Chuck Chronic comes out of the ring and chases Dr. Smiles. And Vincent Cross is just laying there out cold. And then he gets back into the ring, and Chuck Chronic goes to pick him up to do it again, and Vincent Cross out of nowhere hits the flatliner for the win. Kind of like a possum thing. And Vincent and I were actually talking about that after the show, so I thought that was a hell of a finish to the match. Playing possum and then just hitting that flatliner, kind of like what Scott Steiner did back in the day, where, because, a lot of people make the flatliner look all pretty, but, if you guys remember Scott Steiner, because Vincent was telling me this, he'd just grab your head or your neck and throw you to the ground. So, that's what Vincent did, and that was the end of the match. So then, it was main event time. Well, this is the main event. So, Dead Cell is defending their tag team titles against the team of Mr. Slamuel and Big Rig. So, the match starts out by Big Rig and Slamuel attacking Dead Cell. Because if you remember from 4 months ago, Dead Cell put Slamuel on the shelf with a neck injury. So, they're beating the hell out of each other. And then Slamuel and Vincent Cross brawl to the back. And Michael Saint and Big Rig are in the ring fighting. Well then, Vincent Cross comes back out with a chair, and Damian Abel's following him with Slamuel's headband. So it's like they beat up Slamuel in the back. So then, it's 2-on-1 for a while, and then Slamuel runs back out and clubs Damian Abel from behind. And so, they're all fighting for a while. Damian Abel and Dr. Smiles are getting involved, and Slamuel jumps off the ropes onto Vincent Cross, and Damian Abel takes them down. Well, then, a little later, Big Rig walks Michael Saint into the bear hug. And, and he's squeezing the life out of Michael Saint. And Vincent Cross tries to get in the ring to save him. And Slamuel holds him back, and then Michael Saint taps out, and your new tag team champions are Big Rig and Mr. Slam. So that was TWA Firestorm. Really good show, I thought. One of the best shows they've had in a while. I mean, even though I think their shows are always good, but I mean, this one was up there as one of the best ones in my opinion. And so with that said, you know, let's get into some other wrestling news. So we'll talk about WWE first. Money in the Bank happened. You know, Priest is your men's Money in the Bank. Which, I mean, I'm not mad about it, but I really think they should have let LA Knight win because, you know, it was over. Like how over he is. But me personally, I thought they were going to end up adding Cody Rhodes into the match last minute, but they didn't. So, you know, Priest is your Mr. Money in the Bank, and the Io Sky is your Miss Money in the Bank. Which, you know, I don't mind either one of those decisions. I like the dissension going on between Priest and Balor right now. I think that's really cool because it's like you're thinking, okay, like which one's going to get exiled from the group? But you know, speaking of Judgment Day, you know, I really wish they would give Rhea Ripley, you know, a good feud for the world title. Because, you know, it's like ever since they really made her champion, you know, she hasn't had a really good feud in my opinion. You know, I feel like they really need to elevate her. I think her and Becky would have a good feud. Turn you guys out here. Yeah, I'm doing this the comfortable way, so this is all going to be done in one take, so anyway, but, you know, that's the only thing, is like I feel like they're not giving Rhea Ripley a fair feud, you know what I mean? Like, I love what they're doing with the WWE Women's title with Asuka, Bianca, Charlotte, and then you got Io Sky working around, you know, with the Money in the Bank. The World Heavyweight title, I think, is being handled awesomely right now. Seth is being an awesome champion. And, you know, the Bloodline thing, I know people love Jay. I do too. But Jay is not world champion material. I mean, him and Jimmy are a tag team. That is what that is. You know, but I mean, there's really nobody to feud with Roman. I mean, are they really going to have Roman hold the title until Mania and do a rematch with him and Cody? And that's like, bro. You know, I love Roman Reigns. I love Roman Reigns since he debuted. But it's like, if the guy's going to be a part-timer, he does not need to be champion. Because it's not giving you a good title on SmackDown. So, you know, and then, yeah, I mean, so that's pretty much my thoughts on WWE. I'm sorry, I kind of lost my thought there for a minute. But let's talk about AEW. Yeah. I think AEW is doing pretty good right now. I mean, I like this thing going on with MJF and Adam Cole. I really need to get one of those Better Than You baby shirts. But I'm mainly going to talk about Collision. You know, I've watched it. I don't think it's a bad show. But I've been seeing all over Twitter, you know, Jonathan Coachman has been saying, oh, Saturday Night Wrestling's not going to work. And I was like, dude, you know, I mean, I like it. I think it's a good show. I mean, yeah, a lot of times I'm out on a Saturday night, but it's like, you know, I can watch the show later, but, you know, I mean, it's showcasing, you know, a lot of AEW's talent. You know, like the House of Black's going to be a feature on there. Miro's going to be a feature on there. CM Punk's going to be a mainstay on there. But, you know, and I know people are going to be like, well, then they're just call me WWE at this point. They really need to have Dynamite and Collision be two separate brands. Because then you're really going to be able to showcase your talent. You know, that's just my thought. Personally. You know, I'm really excited to see this Blood and Guts match with the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club. You know, I'm anxious to see who they're going to have as the fifth and man on each team. But, dear God, I sound like a broken record. And I've said it 100 times on this channel. Why is Jon Moxley bleeding every week? It's a one-on-one match. He doesn't need to get busted open. Wrestling a one-on-one match. You know, yeah, for the cage matches, for the Texas Death, the Blood and Guts. Bring out the blood, but God! It's like, Moxley, I love you, but Jesus, dude. Quit bleeding every week. It's not helping anything. Storyline-wise. But, yeah, that's really all I gotta say about AEW. And then Impact, you know, I love this feud going on between Scott D'Amore and Bully Ray and Steve Maclin. And I wish Slammiversary was not on pay-per-view so I could watch this live. But, you know, I really want to see how this story between those three men, and you have PCO in the mix, which, if you watched Impact Thursday night, you know, they lit PCO on fire. So it's like, you know, is PCO going to be like this Frankenstein that just comes back, or are they going to write him off? So, yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays out. You know, I mean, I don't mind Alex Shelley being world champion. You know, I think he could have a couple good feuds with that. But I wonder if they are going to set up like a Machine Guns feud at some point. Like Chris Sabin's going to turn on him and be like that heel he was back in like 2012. And, you know, cash in option C on Alex Shelley and, you know, that sort of thing. But something else I want to mention about WWE is, real quick before I hop off here, you know, I wonder, like, if they're going to write off Jimmy until after SummerSlam with that attack that they had on SmackDown last night. But I don't know where that's going to go. But again, I really don't think Jay's World Championship material, but that's just me. Alright, guys. I'm going to hop off here, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you all for watching and supporting my channel. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.